Hi class, this is course 3, lesson 44, and today we're going to talk about two almost, well, they're going to seem like they're completely different things, but one is solving proportions using cross products, and the second one is slope of a line. Now, solving proportions using cross products, you already know how to do this, but I'm not sure that you know completely what you're doing. But in equal ratios, their cross products are always equal, okay? And what that means is that anytime you have a fraction that equals a fraction, you have to have the equal sign there, okay? What you can do is you can multiply diagonally the cross products, and you'd say 2 times a, and that would equal, let's multiply the other direction, 3 times 4, which is 12. And then we use the inverse operations to solve for a. So we would divide both sides by 2, and we would get a equals 6. Okay? Now, you might think that this is really silly because you know how to solve this proportion. You know how to get the value for a without doing the cross products. But I wanted you to be able to see it on a proportion where you would know the answer. You will get proportions where the missing value is not easy to identify just by looking at the proportion. So cross products, and what you're really doing is writing an equation that the multiplication, the 2a, equals the 3 times the 4. Okay, so remember that in equal ratios or in a proportion, your cross products are always equal. Okay, now let's talk about slope. Slope of a line is the ratio of the rise to the run between any 2 points on a line. Okay, now that might seem really math-y, but what you're talking about here is slope equals rise over run. Oops, not O. Rise over run. Okay, so you're talking about how much up and down movement there is and how much left and right movement there is. Okay, so here's an example, and you can sketch this out. Just make a crude sketch in your notes. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you can see that there are 2 points on this line, and the rise would be 2 and the run would be 3. So rise is your vertical, or your up and down, and your run is the horizontal, or the left and right. Okay, so you're going to have to try to remember all that. Rise over run, it's the vertical over the horizontal. And we're going to look at lines from left to right. So these will need to be in your notes because this line goes up. This has positive slope. This line goes down from left to right, so it has negative slope. This line goes all the way, it's a horizontal line, right? It's a horizontal line. And so when you think about how much does it go up versus over, it doesn't ever go up. So it has 0 slope. It's flat. And a vertical line, we say that that has undefined slope. And I'll explain that in just a minute. We don't say no slope. It's either 0 or undefined. Okay, this is a line. It is positive. It has positive slope because it's going up. And what we have here are 2 coordinates that have been plotted and the line drawn through them. And we can see that the rise, the distance from one point to the other in the vertical direction is 4, and the run is 5. So slope equals the rise over the run, which means 4 over 5. It goes up 4 for every 5 that it goes over. Negative slope is illustrated here. Okay, this is the equation for the line. That's not important at this point, but that's the instructions for this line. That's this line was graphed here. And here are 2 points, 2 coordinates that were graphed and the line drawn through them. And we can calculate the slope between these two by going, we need the rise, the distance that it changes vertically. Okay, so if we go down, we'd go down 3, so that'd be a negative 3 down to here. Okay, and then over would be 2. Rise over run. So we would go negative 3 over 2. Okay, now, not that one, that one was 4/5. This one is negative 3/2, right? Do not ever write slope as an as a mixed number. Sorry, it is an improper fraction. Improper fractions are okay. You never make into mixed number. Okay, we need to know the distance that we go up or down and the distance that we go right or left. Okay, you could have also looked at this problem from this point to that one, and we would have said, well, we went up a distance of positive 3, so we'd have 3 over, and then we'd go backward to the left is a negative 2 distance over negative 2. Now these two fractions are the exact same thing. 3 over negative 2, negative 3 over 2, or negative 3 over 2. Same thing. Okay, so you should get the same slope whether you go up or down, and it might seem a little weird, but it works. Now, horizontal lines, remember, have 0 slope. Now, if we want to know the rise, right, rise over run. Okay, so how far up do we go from this point to this point? That's 0 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So the distance between the 2 points is 6. But if 0 is in the numerator, you get 0 for an answer. Okay, so that made 0 slope. Now, vertical lines are undefined slope. Okay, remember it's rise over run. So, how far up do we go or how far down do we go? It doesn't matter. From one point to another, so this would be 1, 2, so I'll go negative 2. And run, how far left or right do we go? Well, we go 0. And division by 0 is undefined. It cannot be done. Okay? And that's how you get undefined slope. Slope between 2 points on a graph shows the average rate of change. So if we were to calculate the rate of change between this point and this point, okay, what is the rate of change between these 2 points? So how far up do we go? We need the rise first, so if we go up here, we would go up from 200 to 400, so this would be a distance of 200. So we'd have 200, and this tells me the units, meters, over how far, what's the distance, or how far do we go in the run, the left or right. So we go from 10 to 20, so we go 10, and then we have units, seconds. And that will all simplify, so you need to simplify, but never to a mixed number. This would be 20 meters per 1 second. Okay? That's the slope of this line. It's the average rate of change. So the motorcycle ride, they went at a rate of 20 meters per second. And that's an application of rate of change or of slope that you'll be asked to do in the lessons. So if you have questions about slope, I know there's a lot for you to remember, especially the positive, negative, horizontal lines are zero slope and vertical lines are undefined slope. But if you have questions, please ask. Otherwise, I will see you in class.